Hi, I'm Priyanka. Welcome to Book Tales with Priyanka. In this video, I'll be talking about childhood memories and this transition from childhood to young adulthood, which we all have been through. So, I am 21 years old right now, and I am quite a lot of times very nostalgic about my childhood. So this and actually it's like most of the times I am living in my past, the good, bad and the ugly. So it's always somewhat like I'm thinking about some moment or the other of my childhood or my adolescence, my pre-tweens or teens, everything. It just keeps as if I am living in a wave of memories. And I like to relive those memories of childhood, of teenage. And recently, I started reading quite a lot of children's books, and then I started reading quite a lot of young adult books. So if I show you my children's books and young adult books, it would be like a lot. But should I? Just a second. Wait. Um, can I really do this? No. So, okay. I'll come back to the video now. You might have seen my books. I was kind of shy to show you all because I thought, okay, it's going to be like, oh, she's got so much of. So, uh, as a child, I didn't get to buy books, okay? And now, whenever I go to these bookstores, my eyes are literally, uh, I feel like a kid in a candy store. Though I used to feel that I do not have my sweet tooth anymore the way I had when I was a child. I realized, okay, let me try to just buy children's books, and I just bought lot of children's books, and I started reading them, and I really realized that, oh God, first of all, what I had thought that I had totally missed out on children's books on childhood because I didn't have the opportunity to read much in my childhood. But then when I read these books, I realized that, oh God, so many things which are in these books, the science fiction or the fantasy or anything, like so many things the books are dealing with, I have either experienced it uh, in my childhood, or I have seen at least TV shows and things like that, which kind of are similar to this thing. So I just felt like, oh my God, I could really feel that I hadn't missed out on childhood altogether. But yeah, when I started reading these books again, many thoughts came to my mind. So basically, when you read a children's book as a child and when you read it as an adult, there is of course a great difference there. So when I started reading these books as an adult, that perspective from which children's books are written is where, say, as children, we we're so free, right? We like right now, say I'm in college in my final year, and I'm thinking about, okay, I'll need to take up a job, I will need to work, and I'll need to work till my retirement when I'm like some 60. Yeah. So when we were children, we were not thinking about all this particularly, especially not until our at least like we were 12 or 13 years old, not until that. So we just did what we liked. We spend our days under the sun, playing and happy with very little things. One small chocolate or something like that. So every small thing added up to this happiness and that imagination which we had, like that love of fairies and mermaids and dragons and whatnot. Everything was so much more full of life. It was so much more imaginative and wide. We were ready to know and think about anything under the sun. We wanted to know about how planets came into existence. We wanted to know what yeah, how far is the moon, and all these questions which great scientists, philosophers ask, and whatever is dealt with in literature, we had experience when we were children. We asked those questions and felt those same things. And also, second thing which I found very interesting while reading children's literature was the role of school. So when the child protagonist is in the school setting, say in this is can be called like a children's book, say Boy of Roald Dahl, where he talks about this cruel matron he had when he was a little boy in school, and how the kind of cruelty which is on children. Or for example, if I read some of the fiction where there are girl protagonists, you can see the kind of treatment they are, like the kind of slut shaming which happens with children. All those are represented in children's books, like the child cruelty, the slut shaming on children, and all these things, all these cruelty are mostly happening in school. Or say when you read a book like Matilda, you see how parents can be neglecting children like anything, like their own children. They can be just not be bothered about their own children. Or you read Daddy Long Legs, where often like Jerusa Abbott is being uh, sent to college by a person she doesn't know and addresses as Daddy Long Legs and writes a letter to him every day, where he is literally like a what and she writes to him and she tells him whatever is happening in her college, whatever. And I could relate to it to a great extent, because like I, in my college life, of course I couldn't write my letter to my anonymous Daddy Long Legs or even my own father. Yeah. So if I would have written such letters, maybe to a great extent some of the things would have been similar, the experience of college. But the thing is that overall, children's literature is not just like you it's not that you cannot read children's literature when you grow up or when you are an adult, because in fact one needs to read children's literature when they are an adult, and we have been conditioned into this thinking about life as this some sort of a Excel sheet where you can put everything very neatly and make a financial plan for your entire life and be happy about it. See, when I read the book The Little Prince, I was so amazed. Like, it is one of my favorite books. And this little prince, he goes from one planet to another. So in every planet, he finds only one person. So these are like very small planets where it's inhabited by only one person. So he goes to this one planet where there was this king. So the king is like, he talks to the king and he's like, for the king, it doesn't matter who the boy is. It's like, for me, everybody is my subject. So then he goes to another planet where there's a businessman, and he's asking the businessman, what are you doing? Like, what job do you do? And he's like, he just keeps adding numbers. So all he does is to add up numbers one after another, and he just writes the number in a paper and just puts those things in a bank account, and he just keeps filling it up. So, or he meets a tippler who is like a drunkard and he's like guilty for drinking, and so he drinks more and he's just like that only. So, when we look at the behaviors of adults from the perspective of children in children's literature, of course, these books are written by adults, but they have been written from the point of view of a child. Of course, it can be debatable whether it's authentic or not, but to a great extent, it is a view on the adult person from the simplicity of a child. So I'll be showing you some of the books which I have talked about here. These are some of the books which I talked about. So this can be, if you are looking to read children's classics, you can start with these books, and please read it in your 20s, read it in your early 20s, late 20s, 30s. After that, I really do not know how adults think about it because I have not reached that age, but I think it should be enjoyable. This is The Little Prince by Anton de Saint-Exupéry. It's originally written in French and translated into English. This is the novel I was talking about, Daddy Long Legs by Jean Webster, who is like the granddaughter of Mark Twain. Yeah. I have quite three Roald Dahl books actually. Three of them are only very popular. Let me pick out this one for. Yeah, these are the three Roald Dahl books I own. If you're reading Roald Dahl, I think you should. Oh, where is 1 second? Yeah. If you're reading Roald Dahl, you should definitely go for these books. This is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You would know it's a very popular. This is The Witches by Roald Dahl. And I really love this book as well. And this is Roald Dahl's biography, Boy. Yeah. And also, you don't forget to read Matilda. I'm just looking for my copy. Okay. So, if you are wanting to read like an escapist story, this is The Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. And I just started reading Wizard of Oz, and I just found it so like that fantastical element. I had been reading like a lot of literary fiction, and now I just started feeling like, okay, enough of literary fiction. I just need to read something light. And yeah, so if you do not want to miss out on popular children's fiction of recent decades, you'd of course know about them. This is Enid Blyton, The Famous Five, and this is J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. This is the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It's the first book in the series. And we of course cannot forget Matilda by Roald Dahl. This is the film, love it. The book, love it. Please read Matilda. So, yeah, it's like reliving your childhood, and give yourself, like if you feel like, oh, a lot of us might feel like our parents did buy books for us. Buy it for yourself. Come on, like let yourself live. Just let yourself live. Do not stop yourself from living life in the most imaginative and creative ways like a child. In teenage, say in early teenage or late teenage, life seems to be revolving around some other things, romantic relationships, other sort of things, all the other sort of things, XYZ, Yodel, no. But when I read children's books and then I read some YA books which had some teenage stories in there, I was like, God, we were so better off as children. Trust me, we were a lot better off as children. We were more imaginative. We were more varied in what we wanted from life. And after a point of time, it all became just about like boys, crushes, lipsticks, this and that. I know you like that, and it's okay to like that. You should like that. But get back to your child's mindset and just see the variety, the length and breadth of imagination which existed before life got caught up in peer pressure or body issues or romantic problems and things like that. So this was all for this video. I hope you would have enjoyed, and I hope I have been able to say something interesting without confusing you guys. So bye bye.